Hi everybody, it's Detroit AllyCat. I am live today and I decided to go live in my bed and on my tablet. So I'm not really used to doing that. I apologize, but I figured I would just go ahead and get on here and just give some updates because it's been a second. I'm really getting used to doing lives on my tablet, so I apologize if I'm not looking directly at you. Now I am. Okay, so if this is the first time on my channel, my name is Detroit AllyCat. I do true crime, I do spooky stuff, I do witchy stuff, I do all kinds of things. And today I'm going to talk a little bit about Brittanee Drexel. And a lot of you people who know, who follow true crime are immediately going to know who Brittanee Drexel is. But before I go into that, let me give you some updates because some people who actually follow me are going to want to know. I have been extremely busy with my job. So I own a circus company. It's called Blue Crow Talent, and I'm just trying to like balance the job and doing this YouTube. I love this YouTube, and life has been going pretty good. But on the other hand, my circus company, and I know that sounds really funny, is flourishing and we're getting jobs. And because we are in a recession right now, I have to do my best to continue to work on it. And I've been trying to go live at some of my jobs and like photo shoots, but like it's hard because some of the sites are very remote and it breaks up and it's not good quality. And just, stay with me because as soon as I get some time and things settle down, I'm going to start trying to edit some videos and get them going. But anyway, so that's just a life update, and I'm happy to see everybody here. I definitely will be doing the podcast this Sunday with me and Bam Bam. I know that's a horrible name to give her. But we do that every 7 to 8. It's the Witches Brew podcast. Everybody really likes it. So let's talk about other things that have been going on. I want to talk about Brittanee Drexel, but I also want to talk about like other things that have happened since I've really sat down and did a long true crime video. There has been a school shooting in Texas, and it's pretty big. There were 19 children that died, and I believe 2 or 3 adults, they were teachers, that died. And there's some really interesting facts about that I want to cover. That just happened, I think, like exactly like a week ago. There was actually a homicide from my house. That was about a mile away from my house. It was a couple. It was like a murder suicide, and there were 3 dead, and that was like 2 weeks ago, and that was pretty crazy. There's just been a lot of really crazy true crimes things happening. I can't see who is on here, so I'm gonna try to see if I can see you talking to me. It says top chat. Alright, I'm gonna put it on live chat so I can see if you guys say hello to me. Alright, so I don't see anybody talking to me, so if you are, I apologize. But yeah, so there's also a situation going on in Los Angeles where you can like rob stores up to $2,500 and you don't get arrested. And so there's a lot of crime going on with that. In New York, there's a lot of crime. People are like relocating out of New York because it's so dangerous. And I've been kind of watching that. And of course, the thing with the Ukraine and Russia, it's very, very tragic and sad, but there's so much to unload with that, like what's going on. And if you're in the United States, which you probably are, you are experiencing extremely high gas prices, and we're in a recession, and the groceries are like so expensive. Everything's so expensive. So there's so much to talk about, and I want to talk about it. But right now, I'm just going to give you a quick summary of Brittanee Drexel. So Brittanee Drexel actually is something that I think I'm going to do a full YouTube video on, like a full good hour, but I'm just going to give a summary of it. Her murderer was actually found 2 weeks ago, and the reason that this is so important is because it's a 13-year-old cold case that I've been following. Brittanee Drexel is this very beautiful, she's like this teenage girl, she's 17. She lived in New York with her mother, and her father had lived in Florida, and it was spring break time, and Brittanee Drexel basically asked her mother, like, hey, can I go with a bunch of friends down to Myrtle Beach for spring break? And her mother said, no, I don't know these kids. I don't trust these kids. I need you to stay here. And so Brittany said, okay, I'm not going to go to Myrtle Beach. I'm just going to spend the night at a friend's house. And her mother said yes. And she ended up going down to Myrtle Beach anyway. So Brittany kept in contact with her boyfriend. He was in New York, and they said they were talking, and she seemed sort of happy, but there was some more in-depth stuff with that. I have to really do some research because it's been a while since I've seen this case. But she was videotaped walking down one of the main strips, and she went to a hotel room with some friends, or to meet some friends there, and they were guys, and everyone suspected these guys like did something to her. They were teenage boys. And then she left the hotel, and there was like the cameras they put up in the hotels to like videotape people. They actually like videotaped her leaving, and there were all these like, people were saying what they thought was happened, but she left the hotel and she never came back to her hotel where she was staying. And her friends had her stuff still in the hotel room that she had left from to go visit the other people in the hotel, and she was never seen from again. And then her mother got to find out, like, yes, she actually did go to Myrtle Beach, because I believe her boyfriend alerted her mother that he couldn't get in contact with her either. And it was just really, it was really bad for her mother, because she was trying to figure out, like, where her daughter was. And for 13 years, this case actually was cold. And there was all these conspiracies, like who could have done it? Did these kids that she meet up with do it? And it was really sad because, she's just like a 17-year-old girl, and that's like every parent's worst nightmare is their child disappearing when they go somewhere from spring break. So they actually found her bones 2 weeks ago. I believe it was in some kind of swamp, and that's what I had suspected anyway, that it was in a swamp. And they found her bones, and they were able to identify her dental records, and somehow the person of interest on the case was actually arrested, and his name is Raymond Moody, and he is an older person. I think he's probably like 50 or 60s, but he has a long history of sexual assaults and sexual crimes and all kinds of bad stuff. And when they were looking for Brittany, they found him in the area, and he became a person of interest, but they couldn't arrest him because they didn't have enough evidence. So they were just basically like, they had been suspecting this guy for 13 years, and I don't know what happened where they found out what he did, or how, or what kind of evidence they found to connect him to Brittany. But he is now getting ready to go to court, and they arrested him. And her mother is, I wouldn't say happy. I would say she feels like she's gonna probably get some justice for Brittany finally, which is good for the family. It's so very tragic. Her father had not actually known Brittany for most of her life, because her biological father and her biological mother, they were like high school sweethearts, and he had relocated to Florida. They broke up, and He finally met her again when she was 16 years old, Brittany, and they had a relationship together. So he had only known her for a full year before this happened. And then she was kidnapped in Myrtle Beach, and it is allegedly suspected that she was sexually assaulted and strangled and then disposed of. And the reason why this case is so important is because it is like one of the rarest types of abduction and murders that are out there. Like this person, Raymond Moody, he had no connection to Brittany whatsoever. This was a complete stranger. He literally probably saw her on the street walking, picked her up, snatched her, or told her that he was going to give her a ride, and did what every parent is terrified of, and assaulted her and disposed of her like she was garbage. And it's just really sad, but I wanted to talk about it because we don't often get cold cases solved like that. I'm seeing more and more of them with the science as it improves, and they're doing a lot of DNA science, and that's like helping the cases be solved. But this is pretty rare and pretty interesting, and I just wanted to talk about it. I'm probably going to go in depth about it, and have like a nice half hour, 45-minute long video about it explaining everything that happened, because there's a lot more that I'm not talking about. But I just really wanted to talk about it real quick and come on here and give you guys some updates. I am going to a festival this weekend. It's called Big Cloud. It's Mendy in the Mitten, and it's one of my first festivals I've ever attended, and we will be performing there. So let me know if you're interested in me videotaping it and editing it. I don't know if you guys think my job is boring or not. It's kind of weird that like a true crime YouTuber does circus stuff. So I don't know. But I have been seeing a lot of the comments on my YouTube. I have been trying to look as much as possible, and I see that like you guys are still active on there, and I appreciate it. Some of the comments are a little weird, and I haven't been able to like delete the not appropriate comments or respond to some of the comments that are a little bit out there, but I am reading them, and I appreciate all of my new subscribers. And if this is your first time on the channel, thank you so much for watching my quick little recap. I'm hoping that I'll have some more really cool things. I've been collecting a lot of stories I want to tell, and just stick with me, and hopefully I'll be back on here. I hope you've enjoyed being in my bed with me. Thank you so much. Please think about subscribing, leaving a like. When I actually get off of here, come back on here, leave a like, leave a comment so I can see it, because once I log off of the live, it erases all of the comments, which really, it kind of sucks. And I like to see who's watching me and all that good stuff. And I can't see any comments today. But I missed you guys so much, and oh, you can see my water bottles. Don't look at that. I miss you guys so much. I can't wait to make some more content for you, and I hope you're having an amazing start to your summer. And as always, stay spooky and stay safe. Bye. Oh my. How do we stop this? Make it stop. Yes, stop.